All guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0 brought to us by the official beer of the program. You know we're talking Johnny Cuba. European roots with that Caribbean soul, a refreshing German lager in a can. How else are you going to enjoy the college football, the NFL playoff action than with an ice-cold Johnny Cuba in your hand? Make sure you always drink responsibly, and don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Easiest way to stay tranquilo is when you get the winning plays. And that's why we bring aboard our pal. He's been joining us on a regular basis for years now. Odyssey Sports, You Better You Bets. Nick Kostos, he's the founding father of Wagertainment. Everybody knows that. Nick, you're a father now. Congratulations. Are you getting sleep? How are you doing?
No, man. No sleep. Actually, great to be on with you. I appreciate the kind words. My daughter actually, so she just got over her first sickness. I think I texted you this last week, right?
Yeah.
She had RSV. It was brutal. Like she's sick.
What is that?
Like respiratory virus infection.
Okay.
So, and there's nothing you can really do to cure it. Like you just ride it out basically. So she's a bad cough for a couple of weeks, doesn't sleep. She wakes herself up in the night coughing and then she's crying and that whole deal. She actually slept basically straight through the night last night. So I feel pretty good today, but no, on balance, I'm not sleeping. No.
These people, these people who tell you, oh, it's not as hard as you think. It's the hardest thing in the world having a child. And those people are not your friends who tell you that. Me and my wife would tell everyone when they get pregnant, because we had kids a little bit earlier, maybe than some of our friends. We're like, don't listen to the people who tell you it's not hard. It's the hardest thing ever.
It's ridiculously hard.
And you're going to be miserable for like 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, without getting into I'm sure anyone out there that's a parent can commiserate with what we're saying. And look, I know you feel this way. It's also like the greatest thing ever, and like the great overwhelms the bad, of course. But yeah, like it sucks. Like there are parts of it that suck. I wouldn't trade it. I love it. I love my daughter. I want to have another kid. Like I love it. But yeah, it's not easy, dude. Not easy.
Well, that's a good sign that you already want to have another, because a lot of people in your spot, whether they're going to have another or not, are saying, I can't do this again. So that's good, though, that you're saying that you want another. Congrats. Really
Thank
great.
you.
Everything's going to continue to be great for you.
So
before we get to the action, we got college, we got pro, Raw on Netflix a couple of nights ago. Just a massive spectacle. What do you make of the whole thing?
So I love the way that they produce it now. And people can say what they want about it. As I know that there was that piece on, Lee Fitting, the old ESPN producer. I don't know him personally. I can't speak to anything that like people have said. He's really good at his job, and it looks really slick. And when you watch it now, it's really in ZASLOW, you and like any listener out there who you've been watching WWE for any like long period of time. We've been watching our whole lives. It's so much better now, the way it's presented. So much better, like more like a professional sport. And
they were really in the Stone Age for
big time,
many years. And we didn't, and I don't know that we knew that they were in the Stone Age, but they were.
And you could just see like the fact that they're so open about who they are now. They're unapologetic about who they are and what they do. I think it's really great. So I thought it was awesome. The thing that I took away from it, though, and like a great main event with Punk and Rollins, Punk like never loses now, which I think is interesting, but that's more of like a booking thing. I didn't care for, and I understand why they did it. I didn't care for like Dwayne Johnson coming out and cutting a promo as like Dwayne Johnson, like on the board of TKO, like a WWE Hall of Famer, talking about how great this is and praising Cody Rhodes. And I didn't love that, because the last time we had all saw, obviously, The Rock in the storyline, him and Cody Rhodes are mortal enemies, and we thought we're setting up for them to fight for the title at WrestleMania 41. Now, maybe that's the direction they head back in, and maybe we look back on this and say, okay, like that was like a necessary part of the story that they're telling. But I think that's almost taking it a little too far, because we all loved heel Rock, and now he comes out, and now we're supposed to say, okay, well, now this isn't part of the story. But then when it's part of the story again, we're supposed to forget that this happened. That did not sit well with me. Like, I did not love that on Monday night.
I completely agree with everything you just said. The Rock Cody stuff really bothered me, but it was also to my overall point of the show, which was, and Triple H actually talked about this in the post-Raw press conference, where very clearly Monday night was about WWE and Netflix. That's what the show was. Every other Monday, starting next week, moving forward, is back to being Raw WWE. But the bigger picture was the most important thing, and that night was about Raw and Netflix. So I get it. You know, there's a bigger picture involved, and that's making sure everybody knows what they are about now and what this is moving forward and how important this relationship is. And then we're going to get back to business. I'm hoping that they can incorporate that into storyline that you just mentioned, where maybe that's Dwayne Johnson, the final boss, knowing I need to show up and make good with our new partners, but I'm still the final boss. And now I'm going to get back to taking care of business.
Yeah, which would be awesome if they did that. Which would be, and look, like
that'd be awesome.
And look, and we have to give them some credit. Like they use, like I think we give this team the benefit of the doubt.
I agree.
Because if they did that, it's an easy sell. It's Rock saying, like, yeah, like I'm on the TKO board, like I have to come out and do that. Also, like I hate Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
So now I'm going to show you the real me. Now that that's done, which would be great. And to be fair, what would you set the odds are that that's what's going to happen?
Especially considering
like
they
more
are
or less than 50%.
More, because you also consider they are very clearly and openly amenable to listening to what the fans think and
fans
changing
didn't like it.
Plans.
Yeah, and fans didn't
so,
like that.
Yeah, I think you lean into this now.
Can I ask you a question?
The plan.
Can I ask you a question? What do you think, just like, and we can go on to football, obviously. What do you think the main event of WrestleMania 41 is going to be?
I thought it was going to be Punk and Reigns until the end of, because I think that's the favor that Punk has asked Paul Heyman, is to get him in the main event at WrestleMania.
Oh,
but that's what I think the favor is. But
what did The Rock give Cody Rhodes the night after WrestleMania? Are we ever? Is this like the Hummer in WCW? Like, is it ever going to get paid off?
I hope so. But Punk also made it clear that he's coming for Gunther. So
yeah.
So I don't know. I will tell you though, and my suspicion was confirmed with what I thought was the best part of Raw on Netflix, Cena. I've thought this for a little while now. Cena's winning Royal Rumble.
Oh, there's no question, right?
And that shit's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
He's gonna win Royal Rumble. And now I don't know that he's going to win the title at WrestleMania. I think he probably falls short, but he's going to win the Royal Rumble, and that shit's going to be awesome.
Can I ask you a different question, then we can get to football or whatever to keep talking about this?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I asked you, what do you think? What do you want the main event to be?
I want the main event. I want Punk and Reigns. I want Cena going after a title, which would mean Cena Gunther. And I think that's a good USA versus Germany kind of deal.
But what's the what do you want the main event to be?
And I want Cody Rock.
Okay, but what do you want to close the show?
Like closing night 2?
Yes.
I think Cody Rock. Yeah, I think Cody Rock.
Yeah, I'll say this, and you're more in the weeds than I am at this point now. Just football season just totally wipes me out. And then I get really back in once football starts to now I'm starting to get back in. I would actually be, it's not that I'll still watch. I will be disappointed if Rock is not in the main event. I will actually be disappointed. Like I need it.
Right.
I would really like that to be the case.
Yeah, I'm really in on Royal Rumble because I think it's going to be just a monster Cena moment. And I think we're all going to just eat it up. I think I'll just say now, like as I'm taking a second, I don't like babyface Roman Reigns. It does nothing for me. Right, he needs a little edge to him.
Like this whole thing with Solo's lost 500 matches in a row.
I know.
What are we doing with Roman here? Like, what are you excited about with? I guess like Roman Punk would be pretty good. I don't know. Like I'd like to see Roman Rock. Like we were supposed to get that. Like I need something electric with The Rock. That's what I need for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping we still get Rock, Cody. I think that's what everybody wants to see at this point. But it's gonna be fucking great. That I know for sure. Let's do some football here, Nick, before I got to catch this plane and fly into a snowstorm in Dallas, Texas. Let's start with the Orange Bowl, all right? Thursday night. Why send me to the Orange Bowl 20 minutes from my house when you could send me across the country to
Well,
Texas?
I mean, to be fair, they're sending you because you're the premier talent. They're sending you to the better game. You're going to the main event.
You think it's the better game? Yeah.
Ohio State? Yeah, Ohio State's the Rock in this example.
But I feel like there's a better chance of the Orange Bowl being a closer game.
Yeah, but Ohio State, Texas is like Notre Dame, Penn State's is WrestleMania night 1. You're going to WrestleMania night 2.
Okay, so Orange Bowl, Notre Dame, Penn State. Notre Dame's only a 1.5 favorite, I think, right about now. What are we liking?
I like Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame a lot. I think Notre Dame's upside is way higher than Penn State's. I think Marcus Freeman is the way better coach in the game. Penn State has basically had a double bye to the semis. That's you beat who's on your schedule. It's not that they don't get credit for beating SMU and Boise State. I thought what Notre Dame did last week against Georgia was so impressive. And I understand Carson Beck doesn't play in the game for Georgia. I thought Marcus Freeman coached Kirby Smart under the table in that game, including at the end of the game. Sends out the punt unit, then runs the offense onto the field. Georgia looked like it had never seen anything like that before. That's like a Belichickian moment for Marcus Freeman.
Cool.
Now, I do think that Penn State, the thing that trips you up a little bit, and Notre Dame's a 1-point favorite in the game, so it's not like they're a 10-point favorite. The thing that trips you up a little bit, if you like Notre Dame, Penn State definitely has the better quarterback in the game, Drew Aller versus Riley Leonard. But I give Notre Dame the edge basically everywhere else, especially at head coach. And I think Riley Leonard does enough. I think Notre Dame wins and advances to the national championship game.
What about Friday night? So I'll be there, Cotton Bowl, AT&T Stadium, Ohio State, Texas. Ohio State, what are we talking? 5.5-point favorite right now.
Yeah, so Texas has been drawing betting interest for a while now in the market. Ohio State opened here like a over a field goal and immediately got slammed up after the way they dismantled Oregon in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Now we're starting to see some buyback on Texas, which I think is totally understandable. Texas, despite, surviving against Arizona State in the Peach Bowl on New Year's Day, is still power rated as one of the best teams in the country. So I think like 5.5 is probably a fair point spread in the game. Ohio State a little bit less than 6. You could also talk me into 6. So I think the spread is fine. I'm not going to bet the game on Friday night. What I have done, and I'm actually just going to take a look at what the price is right now. Yeah, I mean, it's starting to get a little out of whack. So we talked about last week on the show on You Bet or You Bet. Ohio State was plus money to win the national championship. Now they're minus 130. I think Ohio State just is going to win the Natty. So I think they beat Texas. I think they beat Notre Dame or Penn State, whoever wins that game. That's how I would choose to bet the Cotton Bowl on Friday night. Bet Ohio State to win the national championship. I don't think the Buckeyes are losing.
How much do you think Ohio State would be favored against either of the other teams?
Close to 10.
Wow.
Over a touchdown?
Wow.
Well, think about this. Texas is, out of the 4, Texas is definitely the second best power rated team. Ohio State's 5.5 on a neutral against Texas. So they have to be more against Notre Dame or Penn State. And think about if Ohio State beats Texas, the credit that Ohio State will get for beating consecutively Tennessee, Oregon, Texas. So I think it's north of a touchdown against either.
That's a good point. That's like they may dismantle all 3 of them, and it's the toughest road, you would say, of any of these teams to get to the final. That's a good point. So that's the weekdays. Then we get to the weekend, and we got the pros. So let's start on Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, Chargers, Texans. I love the Chargers here, -3. What do you think?
Yeah, at 3, I actually like Houston. But ZASLOW, this is going to be, I'll do like the nerd, math betting thing here. Chargers should be favored in the game. There's no question. I do not think they should be a 3-point favorite. I think that's a bridge too far. I think if you told me Chargers 2.5, that's fine. For anyone out there listening that goes, oh, well, what's the difference? Well, think about the math of the NFL. Games land 3 the most out of any other number. So if Chargers by 3 is the most likely outcome, and I bet Texans +3, okay, great. I just pushed my bet. Now, ZASLOW, my recommendation to you and anyone out there listening, I can be wrong. If you like the Chargers in the game, wait for a 2.5 and lay the 2.5 with the Chargers.
That's what it had been the first few days, I believe.
Yeah, we're bouncing back and forth, right? Because I think basically what happens is bettors think that 3 is wrong, and then when it goes to 2.5, all the people that like the Chargers bet the 2.5 and it goes back up to 3. So we are basically existing in between this range. So look, I can be wrong about this, but I could be wrong about liking Houston in the game at that number, but I'm not wrong about this. If someone out there listening likes Houston, bet +3. If you like the Chargers, bet -2.5 to give yourself the best chance of winning. I'll be on the Texans +3 on Saturday.
Steelers and Ravens, primetime, 8 p.m. Eastern Saturday night. Ravens are a 9.5-point favorite. It's a ton of points, but man, Steelers have lost 4 in a row. I feel like they're a dead team walking.
Yeah, this is another one. At 10, I actually like Pittsburgh, but I need a full 10 to make the bet with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just going to take a look here just to see, because things change, right, with weather. What we're looking at here. Okay, the wind doesn't look terrible, but there are like storm forecasts potentially this weekend. If you get like a weird wind game on Saturday, I think it probably like helps the Steelers maybe not win the game, but shorten the game and maybe keep the game a little closer. I can tell people that the under has gotten bet as well in this game, and I'm just going to do a quick refresh of my screen. Yeah, I mean, wow. This thing's gotten slammed, the total.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this could be a 23-10 Raven victory. You know?
Well, like this was above 44, and now it's 43.5. 44 is one of the key numbers when it comes to betting totals. I don't think there's a ton of value left on the under of this game. At 10, I would bet the Steelers with not a ton of confidence. Zay Flowers unlikely to play for Baltimore.
Let's get into Sunday, Broncos-Bills. This one I find tough. The Bills are an 8.5-point favorite. I certainly think the Bills are going to win. I could see the Bills, winning by a couple touchdowns. I could see the Broncos keeping it close.
Yeah, I would only bet Buffalo in the game. Bo Nix, first playoff start on the road, maybe walking into a buzzsaw in Western New York. This is Bills or nothing for me, but I will say that, and like we talk about this on my show all the time, on Sunday night when the point spreads come out, I said this on Monday on my show, I hope our listeners know enough. Like we always say, we can put a piece of fish in your plate, but we're also trying to teach you how to fish also. So when the games come out on Sunday and Baltimore's 8.5 and Buffalo's 7.5 to 2-team teas, both of those under 3-point favorites. So I'm leveraged on that. So if it sounds like I'm a little non-committal here, like I do have bets on these games, just that those numbers are no longer available. I'll tell you what. Let's see where we at with Vikings Rams. Okay. So Vikings Rams right now is basically like a pick 'em. Yeah. If either team goes out to 1.5 and you think the game is going to be close, and Buffalo's 8.5, tease the Bills down to 2.5, win by 3, win your bet. And tease Rams or Vikings up to a 7.5-point dog, lose by 7, and you win your bet. But if we're just talking straight bet, ZASLOW, I actually think the game is closer to 10 than not. I would only lay Buffalo. I would not take the points with the Broncos.
Right now, the Eagles are a 4.5-point favor over the Packers. Can you bet this game until you find out about Jalen Hurts?
Hurts is going to play. I feel pretty confident in that. The reason I say that is because the Eagles waived Ian Book, who had been the third quarterback on the roster while Hurts had been out with a concussion. So I do think Hurts is going to play. And now that we know that Jordan Love is going to play, there's like the number would not be this. Like it wouldn't be this.
How does the line move? How does the line move when Hurts is officially announced available?
I think this is the Hurts number.
Okay. All right.
If Hurts does not, because so we're at 4.5. The next number up that matters is 6. If this went to Eagles 6 and Jordan Love's playing, the Packers would get bet immediately. Like it wouldn't exist. It would get posted.
You're saying the line dictates Hurts is playing. That's
the line says Hurts is playing, and the line maybe is a little nervous about Love, but this is basically I think what the point spread. So the look ahead market, just for context, prior to Week 18 being played, was Eagles 3. And now I think Christian Watson's out, and the Packers look terrible in Week 18, and Love's deal, and that's how you get to this number. I think this is the toughest game to bet. If I had to bet the game, I would lean into volatility and bet the Packers to win if I had to do something at a small bet.
Okay. I think the best game of the weekend is Commanders and Buccaneers. The Bucs are a 3-point home favor right now. What do you like?
Well, it'll be on NBC and Peacock, and you can now watch You Better You Bet on Peacock. Shameless plug. So the point spread now I think we've got, yeah. So now this point spread's been all over the place. So I bet this game on Monday. Commanders plus 3.5. Now it looks like this is going to come off of 3 and go down to Bucks minus 2.5. So the number is 3. It is juiced towards Washington. I think the Commanders have the better quarterback in the game. At 3 or better, I like Washington.
And finally, Monday night, Vikings-Rams. This is the game I have the least feel for. What do you think?
Yeah, it's open Minnesota minus 2.5, and now it's a pick 'em. People selling all that stock in Sam Darnold after what we saw on Sunday night. So, I think the math better in me, I don't want to throw around the term like sharp, but that the better in me that thinks with his head says, okay, if you're going to make this game a pick 'em, then I'm going to bet the Vikings. But then my heart and the sports fan in me says, you dope. You're going to bet Sam Darnold on the road as a favorite or as a pick 'em against Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. I think I'm going to end up with some kind of Rams bet in the game.
It's the game I have the least feel for. I don't know what's going to happen there at all. Nick, excellent job starting tomorrow. I mean, 5 straight days.
It's awesome.
Playoff football. Really, really awesome weekend ahead of us. Tell everybody how they can hear you and all the places now that they could see you.
Yeah, you bet weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM, on Stadium, Odyssey stations nationwide, YouTube and Twitch. The final hour of the show, the Power Hour, broadcast live on NBC Sports Now. Every single people can watch on Peacock and on other, whatever basically streaming service you have. So 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern live, and every show archives. It can be watched after the fact. I'm on Saturday and Sunday morning this week for wild card playoff shows that air nationally. And my WFAN show solo Sunday mornings, 8 to 9 a.m. as well for people in the New York tri-state area.
Excellent job, Nick. Appreciate you, man. Thanks. So we'll, Let's talk again before the Super Bowl. It works out. Maybe we could do it right before Royal Rumble, which is February 1. So we could do a little Royal Rumble and Super Bowl a week in advance. How about that?
That sounds awesome. Wishing everybody minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck.